Hey guys, my arm's long. So today I would like to discuss prime lenses, a little bit about the pros, a little bit about the cons, and why I personally shoot with prime lenses. I guess to just sort of get right into it, prime lenses are a fixed focal lens. So that means it's not gonna have any sort of zoom. Like for example, a 24 to 70 millimeter lens is obviously gonna go from 24 millimeters to 70 and everything in between. A prime lens or a fixed lens is only gonna be one focal length. So you can either have like a 24 millimeter lens, 50 millimeter lens, 85 millimeter lens, so on and so forth. But it's only gonna be just one number. So in order for you to zoom on a prime lens, you're gonna have to use your Chevrolet legs and walk somewhere. And I know that might be a little inconvenient, but the image that you'll get in the end is gonna be worth that 5 seconds of exercise, that grueling walking pain. It sucks. But yeah, all jokes aside, there's a huge reason why you would want to have a prime lens. So I've compiled a little list of pros versus cons, and also why I personally shoot with prime lenses. So these are my two primes right here. As you've seen in my What's in My Bag video, which you better freaking watch if you have not seen it yet. This is my 85 millimeter lens. Come on camera. Just take my word for it, it's 85 millimeters. And this is my 40 millimeter. Please, please, please. Thank you. 40 millimeter are also known as Canon's pancake lens. Why it's called pancake, I'll show you, is because it is just super duper skinny. I mean, look at that thing. Checking that thing. But yeah, see how small it is? Like, it's literally like the size of a body cap. That's what makes it a pancake lens. And they also have a pancake lens that is a 24 millimeter lens, but that's for crop sensor, which bums me out to no end because I don't shoot with the crop sensor, I shoot with the full frame. If Canon made a 24 millimeter full frame lens that's pancake, I would just be a happy joy. So the only zoom lens that I've ever really shot with has been a 24 to 70 f2.8 millimeter lens by Canon. Your 24 millimeter can be set to 2.8 all the way to 70. You can still have a 72.8. You know, they can go from 1.8 to 1.4 to 1.2. Some extreme cases I've seen it at 1. I've read about a lens that was a 0.8 f-stop, which is crazy. I mean, the detail that you could probably pull out of that is probably insane. Here are the pros that I've listed in my brain that I wrote down for you guys to evaluate, to comment on. If I have forgotten any pros, please leave them in the comments below. If I got something wrong, please leave that in the comment section below. I don't think I did, but if I did, just let me know. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you want to start shooting primes over zoom lenses, but here we go. So pretty much the general image quality from a prime lens to a zoom lens is going to be greatly improved with a prime. Pretty much what any brand of camera will test for with their prime lenses is pretty much sharpness, distortion, vignetting, and chromatic aberration. If you're not quite sure what the last one is, usually with like a zoom lens, or even with some cases, primes will do this too. Say you took a photo of a building, right? And like middle of the day, kind of when like the sun's really blaring, this building's kind of far in the photo, you'll see like this weird RGB 3D happening at the corner. It just looks like a really poorly 3D effect. All the colors really didn't meet, so it's kind of like doing like this whole red, green, blue dance. And that's what they generally test for. You know, those are their parameters of what makes a good prime lens is, again, the sharpness, the vignetting, the distortion, and chromatic aberration, and how it handles all of those. Another good point that I thought of was that fixed focal lengths honestly give you the true best quality of what you're trying to photograph. So like for example, if you're going to do a landscape shot, you're better off with the prime lens of like something wide, say like 24 millimeters, or maybe even smaller than that, maybe like 14 millimeters, but it's gonna be truly a 14 millimeter or a 24 millimeter that's meant to shoot like a 24mm or like a 14, 15mm. So pretty much what your sensor is seeing, your lens is going to capture that truly to its best potential. Again, you're going to see better sharpness, you're going to see better colors, especially when you put it up to your computer. You'll really notice the quality difference. You're going to be like, damn, my camera just did that because I had this lens. You'll really start to question, okay, is the convenience of zooms really gonna outweigh the quality of the image? Another pro about primes is that they're generally lighter than zooms. So now you're not straining your hand so much on like carrying this bulky camera with maybe a huge zoom lens. You have like this nice fixed focal length lens that doesn't really weigh that much. They're also generally smaller because they weigh less. And of course, they're gonna be faster because most prime lenses start at a f2.8. Generally, a zoom lens will start you around 3.5, and those will do just fine during the day. But once that sun starts to drop, that's when you're going to be in trouble, and that's when the prime lens will be your best friend. And that's another point I want to bring up is its low light performance. Because it can go so wide with the aperture, you're allowing more light to hit your sensor, which means at nighttime, you can get a clearer shot. And who doesn't want a better photograph at night? Well, you can achieve that with prime lenses. Like I just said, they start at f2.8, and 2.8 or greater is going to be fantastic for night. And you know, you can either do night portraits, music photography, say that you're at an outdoor concert or an indoor concert where lighting is very limited, you can actually get a really great shot with a prime lens. Also, having a prime lens does translate really well with video. Cameras nowadays are now starting to pump out cameras that can do 4K. But in order to really capture the trueness of the video quality, you're gonna need a prime lens. As I said before, there's all these great reasons why you'd want to have, yes, it does amazing video. You can get amazing home videos, or if you're doing short films or music videos or, you know, whatever, vlogs. A prime lens on a high quality DSLR or entry level DSLR that does video, you're gonna get great results out of that through a prime lens. Those are pretty much the reasons why I shoot prime and the reasons why I sold my 24-70, which I honestly semi-regret. I unfortunately had to sell it to pay rent for 1 month. It really had to come down to that. But I mean, that lens is really freaking expensive, so I was able to make rent. I don't want to be an adult. But yeah, sometimes life bites in the ass and you have to sell your best lens. I do plan on getting it back though, because that lens is honestly super duper cool. It's probably my favorite zoom lens. I really don't see myself using any other lens. If I want to get crazy, a 70-200 with a 1.4 magnifier perhaps, but we'll see. Okay, here comes my favorite part of the video, the dreaded cons. And I really had to think about this one only because I'm such a huge fan of prime that I had to think about some crappy points about it. It was more of a challenge than I thought. But I can honestly guys, I can only come up with 2. But I feel like they're 2 solid good ones. So if you have more cons about primes that I didn't think about, leave that in the comment section below too. I'd really like to know what you guys think about that. Here is the first con. It does eliminate the convenience of zooming. I know sometimes walking isn't desired. There might be some situations where your lens just isn't gonna be long enough to photograph what you want to photograph. But then again, you know, that honestly divides the pros from the joes. You're gonna know what you're gonna need to bring. But to the hobbyist, to the real beginner amateur, that's gonna kind of suck because you don't know what to bring yet. To a beginner, a prime lens probably doesn't make a lot of sense to have. They'd probably be like, why would I shell out so and so amount of money for just one zoom lens? When my camera came with like a 18 to 135 millimeter, or you know, something of that equivalent, why would I go out and spend X amount of dollars to buy something that I kind of already have? To some, that might be a real disadvantage. And I totally get that because that's how I was. That's how I started out. The only reason why I would think that a prime lens wouldn't work well for you is if you're trying to zoom at something insanely far. For some, the convenience of having a zoom is robbed when you get a prime lens. Also, another con, which is honestly a con, I can see why too, is its price points. Now, zoom lenses are generally going to be cheaper versus a prime lens. Prime lenses can get really freaking expensive because they're a faster lens. You can get a 50mm f1.8, f1.4, but you're gonna spend, say on the 1.4, you're gonna spend like 300, 400 bucks. Now, that's honestly on the cheaper side of primes too. I've seen primes climb up to the thousands of dollars. Like an 85 1.2, I think is damn near close to $2,000. Last time I checked, an 85 1.2 is also like one of like the granddaddies of a prime lens. There are some cheaper options out there. Like for example, this 40mm lens, 200 bucks, I think, brand new. And I'm sure online you can find it for cheaper. But yes, the price points of primes can get expensive. Photography is not a cheap thing, and you're only gonna want to spend those amounts of dollars if you're putting out professional work. If you're a professional photographer or a photographer interested in becoming a professional, then you want to go ahead and invest your money into some good prime lenses. And I'm gonna throw it out there, invest in a 24 to 70mm. So yeah, so that is my video on the pros and cons, why I recommend them over zooms. I'll probably do a video on the pros and cons of zooms, why you might want to zoom, what makes a zoom beneficial, because like this whole video I was just on zooms. Well, I'll make another video kind of on primes. So, you know, it's fair, same. You know, leave some love in the comment section below if you want to comment on the video, what you think about prime lenses versus zooms, if you agree with me, disagree with me. If you have more bullet points to put up on the pros and cons, let me know in the comment section below. And of course, you already know what it is. You can follow me on the tube, follow me on the gram, follow me on the book so you know where to look. I'm Sam the Photographer, and until we meet again, party people, peace. Comb my beard real quick.